Hello, welcome. It's Monday. Today is my video, and this week I'm really excited to tell you I'm going to do a little series. And first of all, we're going to talk about your property investment goals. Hello and welcome to Monday, my video series. I'm actually going to do a 4-part series now for you over the next 4 Mondays, including today as we start. So today is, as I've said, property investment goals. What are they? And I'm going to go into that in a second. But the other headings which I've just come up with really is your investment area and how to research that. I think that's one of the most important ones to get right, and I will just talk and we will look at that. I'll probably do some work on the computer so you can see that. That'll be next week. The next one is if you are going to be doing any works, whether it is works on the property, your solicitors, your financing, etc., who's going to do that for you? Okay. And lastly, it will be tenants and management. But funny enough, by starting now with the property investment goals, you must start with the end in mind, always. Okay, so look, we're gonna just be basic information for you so you understand. I think the birds are having a wonderful party today. I don't know if you can hear that, but the weather is absolutely stunning. I'm at home, and you know, we have this surrounded by wildlife. It's crazy. We have pheasants and all sorts walking in the garden. Anyway, let's get on. Look, your property investment goals. You need a bit of paper here, and you need to be writing down these questions and ask yourself these questions, because it's no good for someone like me if you were to come on my mentorship and me to turn around and say, you got to do this, you got to buy this, and you got to do it this way. That is not how it works. You will have an idea. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions. The first one, on the next property that you purchased, and it doesn't matter if you've already purchased 100 or you got none, the question is the same. All the questions are the same. The next property that you purchase, what is it? Is it an apartment? Is it a house? Is it commercial property? What is it? Is it land? You need to write that down right now. Okay, the next question is, how many bedrooms do you want? And so just think, if your perfect property that you are going to go and buy, the perfect property for you. Okay, so I'm not saying no money, you know, the money we're not getting into at the minute, because that would be defined by the area that we go. So if you're living in Knightsbridge, where I used to, you know, you might think a 3-bedroom flat might be £10 million. We're not talking about that. We're just talking your next investment property. We haven't got to area yet, but how many bedrooms? The next one, what do you want to do with it? Okay, this is your free choice. Do you want it as a single let? Do you want it as an HMO, a house of multiple occupation, meaning that you can rent room by room and make more money? Do you want it as a service accommodation? Is that something that you want to do? In which case you will need some further training, and so you can learn how to do that properly and maximize your income. Do you want to do commercial to residential? Do you want to get land and get planning permission and do planning, gain and sell? Do you want land with planning permission and build? Do you want land with planning permission and change the planning permission? As I'm doing at the minute, I'm using an option agreement to do that right now. What is it that you want to do? You need to be writing this down. Now, next question. What condition do you want the property in? And this is your optimal thing that you want, whatever you want. So a lot of people that I teach and work with is they understand if they buy cheap in poor condition, they can add the value, get an uplift, refinance and pull a big chunk of their money back out. In some cases all, but not all cases. All right. So what condition? Are you happy to go forward and take on a major job? So let's, for instance, let's keep it simple. Let's say that you've said a house, 3 bedrooms, and let's say at the minute you just want to do a single let, but you're open to a multi-let if it's workable. All right, but let's say the numbers work as a single let. You want to start nice and easy. My advice, by the way, if you've never done this before and you come in to property, remember I work with a lot of people who come on my mentorship, my training, and they do come and say, Trevor, what do you suggest? Look, I take them through those questions, I really do. But I do suggest if you're coming into the buy, refurb, refinance model, don't take on too much too soon. Do a small single let, maybe a 2-bed, the one that works so you can pull out nearly all of your money. You'll make some money on the rent. You might not make a lot, you know, a few £100 a month, something like that. But it's a steady one. But what you learn through that process will set you up, and it will help you avoid making costly mistakes. Think about it. You suddenly say, I want to do a 7-bed HMO. Well, lenders might not entertain you if you have absolutely no experience. But even if they did, make a mistake at that level, it's going to cost, and it could be the thing that could ruin you. Make a mistake at a 2-bed refurb, single let property, it'll never be too expensive. Honestly, even if it went really badly wrong, you'll be able to recover because all your values are a lot less. So listen, that's wisdom speaking. You don't have to, but it's great advice. Very important is, what area do you want to be in? So you would have thought about this already. So if you live in London, yes, you'd love to stay in London, but the rental yields will be around 3%, 2.5%, 3%, and if you're lucky, and they don't really work. So most people in London are looking to come out, whether that is Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, the main cities seems to get the most attraction. But where would you really want to have your property? Really important. Think about travel. Think about vicinity close to where you live and how far you've got to travel. Okay, so sometimes, you know, you don't always have to go for major cities. You know, things which are closer to home. I know if you're London based, you can go down the Thames Estuary now. You seems to be getting more and more popular down there. You want to see where things are happening in the city or in that area. Don't just follow like sheep because, you know, Birmingham, my friend invested in Birmingham. You need to do that research and look, and that means going on the town planning. It means reading local plans of what's coming, looking at the universities, the expansion of businesses, or the closure of businesses. So remember, you know, many years ago when Coventry and the car trade just went, that was not a good time to be thinking, well, I'm going to go and invest in property. Yes, you would have, soon after that, property prices would have dropped in certain areas. You could have picked them up then, but you've got to wait some time to recover. So you've got to think, what do you want? Very important question. Do you want to hold that property for a long time? Or do you want to do it up and sell it? Which one do you want? Both are right. If you want to sell it quickly, then your market needs to be absolutely hot in the way that when you market it, you've got people coming. And top tip again, sell cheaper than the other ones around, and make sure you put that into your numbers. If you want to hold, hey, listen, you know, don't be fighting over £1,000, £2,000, £3,000 on the asking price. Remember, if you're getting a 75% loan to value on if you paid £4,000 more on a property, let's say it's 100,000, that means it's £100,000 more cash. It's not a lot on your interest payments. It really isn't. However, it secures it, because if you're going to keep that for 20 or 30 years into the future, think, if you bought it now, you know, you fast forward, you wouldn't even worry about it. So don't always, you know, grab property at a set price. Sometimes you can pay a little bit more and it will work for you. So think, you know, carefully about your strategy. Is it, because I know people that lose property because they're fighting over £1,000, £500. Oh, I need it at that. honestly, if you got a long-term strategy, that does not matter. You know, even this COVID-19, people are worried that, you know, property prices are falling. Let's say if your strategy is to hold for 30 years, yes, you know, let's say a £200,000 property, it may well now be worth 180. Yes, you could always go back. So your spread, you know, go back and renegotiate. Your spread won't be as much. So you might renegotiate. But what do you want to do with it? If it's a long-term hold, if it's not going to, if you're happy to leave money in there, don't quibble too much. Just get it, secure it, and hold it. You'll never be upset about it, I promise you. It's about what you want to do with your goals. Look, numbers. Numbers is a difficult one. You must know your numbers, all right? So there's certain things that you should be able to work out, and it is quite simple. Income, expenditure. The expenditure needs to be everything. Mortgage interest, mortgage arrangement fees, solicitors fees, lenders, solicitors fees, etc., etc. You've got to get that right. Now, I don't teach that on this YouTube. I do that with my mentees. On the very first, we have an induction day. We spend over 2 hours working on those numbers. Why? Because every single one has to have it back to front and know how to work it out. It's one of the most important things to learn. Lastly, finance. You've got to get your finance right. Now, I recommend my friend Martin Smedley. He's a master broker. I'll put his details here for you if you want to contact him. Please don't contact him about advice if you should buy a property or not. That's not what he's there for. But if you want lending, that's something that he can help you with. And he is connected and is on the panel of all of the lenders that you could name, and so many more. He won't mess about. He'll always find you the best product for you, and not trying to get the best income from him by getting the biggest share from a lender, completely ignoring what you need. And unfortunately, there are people like that around. So look, these are your property goals. You write that down. And last question, how much do you want to pay for that next property? And that is the kicker question, because that will define where you're going to invest. Okay, investment area I'm going to do next Monday on part 2 of this 4-part series. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed this. Please make a comment, subscribe, share it. If you would share my videos, I would very much appreciate that, and so I can help more people. Listen, stay safe and know that we're starting to come out now from the lockdown gently. Please do that wisely. Keep your family safe. And I have to just say that one of our employees, Sarah, she gave birth to a beautiful little baby girl yesterday within about an hour of going into labour, and delivered at home between herself and her husband because the paramedics just didn't get there in time. Amazing. So welcome to Grace into this wonderful world. Listen, have a great week. May God bless you. Bye bye.